Thank you so much and welcome to our session. And just a few words. My name is Nina Strassner. I'm head of diversity and people programs for SAP. I'm responsible for the people programs for 23,000 employees in Germany. And I just joined SAP 2.5 years ago. So I'm relatively new. And I quickly hand over to Masa, who joined SAP last year with me. And Masa, what are you doing?
Right, so I'm leading the marketing team here in Germany, and it's even not last year, Nina. It has not even been 12 months. How crazy is that? It feels for years, but not only 12 months. I think it's so crazy. And I joined for Microsoft, where I was before, and I studied at the University of Arts in Berlin. So maybe that's also interesting for you. Would be interesting to see where you guys are from. So you can definitely also use the chat so we can see where from all around the world you are from.
Well, that's a great idea because, I mean, that's a great audience today, Masa. I mean, there are mostly students listening to us, and I think we both still remember how that was to be a student, and it is a crazy time. You don't know what lays in front of you, and you're nervous all the time. And on the other hand, it is such an exciting time. Sometimes I wish I could go back. Sometimes I'm happy that I'm not as nervous as I was at that time. And like, Nina, relax. Things will go as planned, and maybe some things you cannot plan. And this is what we talked about, Masa and me. And we said, like, wait. I only talk to students. I mean, there are things we're like, things I wish I would have known earlier. So, Masa, you joined SAP 12 months ago, but is there, what is the first thing that you thought when you entered SAP and you thought, interesting fact. I wish I would have known that earlier.
So I would say one of the things which I really would have loved to know earlier was how we really live flex work. So at SAP, you can work anytime, anywhere. I mean, as long as the business allows it, which is for most of the jobs very much possible. And yeah, please don't tell my husband because we moved from Munich to Mannheim almost a year ago for SAP. But actually, if I would have known that it's so flexible and that it's totally okay to use the flexibility to live wherever in Germany or wherever around the world, to have flexible hours, I'm not sure if I have moved here. But I love Mannheim, so that's fine. And what about you? What is like one thing that really strikes you?
Yeah, it's good that you say that. So it is also a don't tell my husband session. Don't tell my husband that there's no need to be as responsible for the kids as I told him he needs to be, because I'm a mom of 2. I live in Kiel, so far away from Waldorf. It's 900 kilometers. So I was not thinking about moving. But when I entered management, I was like, okay, I'm a manager now, and you need to take care for the kids. So reduce your business hours. And well, after a couple of weeks, maybe according what you said to the flex times, there's also, yeah, the childcare and the family time. So that was something I was not used to. And in my former life, I was a lawyer for labor law. So I heard a lot of things going on with parents and companies who are like really weird when it goes on like this. And the pandemic hit, and we even had homeschooling help. There's a lot of flexibility when it comes to family, a lot of offers. There are countless coaching possibilities. Also, when you're like that, you see the level of it. Also, if you have a teenage kid freaking out, you can call the coach at SAP, no matter what age or what career level you're on. So even if you're a student couple or you just entered SAP, and this is really something I must say I used 1 or 2 times because one of the children is reaching puberty right now. But I mean, we also care for dog owners, so it's not only family. So do you have a dog, Masa? Do you have any pets during the pandemic, maybe?
I don't have any yet. So actually, we're still thinking about getting a dog, but I think there are also some really cool things that SAP offers here, right?
Yeah, we have a Wow, it's called Wow app, and I always have to laugh about that. I mean, before the pandemic came, we were thinking about a bus where you can transport dogs. And we connect dog owners with each other because we know how hard it is sometimes to go for a stroll with dogs. So you could actually see the level of this. And as I entered SAP and I heard about that, I'm like, whoa. And I was prepared to ask if I can, I don't know, have like family, how things are with family time. But there we see, yeah, the level of it. And that's really relaxing. Like, I don't know how you experienced it, but it was a lot of like, whoa, okay, I don't have to be stressed because of family things. And really, a lot of people are really putting it in front and really saying openly, hey guys, I have to leave now. I have to listen to a flute concert of the kids and I really have to leave. And managers are doing that. And this is really cool if you're planning a family.
I really love what you're saying, because actually before I even joined SAP, and now a former colleague of mine who joined SAP much earlier than myself, she told me for the first time in my life, I thought I can definitely have a family and a job life, and I thought this is so nice, and it kind of symbolizes the way everything we're going to talk about today, but you guys can also experience at SAP. It was like a very short and crisp sentence, but I thought this is really what we want to do. And I think what especially you and your team are all about, to find different ways to help people to bring their job life and their life together, so that both works out. And actually one thing I love, it's you don't need to cook every day. Why? And of course, this goes a little bit to the time after the pandemic and before the pandemic. But here at SAP, you get free lunch at various canteens, and there's like a very inclusive way of eating. So you get like a wide range of vegetarian and vegan dishes, free coffee, tea, soft drinks, everything you want, and also vegan milk. So I don't drink milk, so I think that's perfect, and I really like that. And actually, another thing what you talked about, and I think it's just a small example, but I know that Kava, our German HR leader, he once asked the dads at SAP what would help them, and I think it goes also to family life, and they reflected and said, well, I think what would really help us, how can we, make the shopping after work easier and the cooking time easier, because it takes so much time and I would love to spend it with the kids. And I think so we implemented dinner to go, I think it's called, right? And I think this is so lovely because at the different canteens, you can then order fresh meals for you and your family, so you don't need to cook after work, but you have a delicious meal just cooked for you and your family.
Yeah, this was one of the things like I didn't know before. Like, I mean, of course, I was working remotely a lot at that time, but still, I mean, the dinner to go. And fun fact, it's correct what you said, that the dads came up with that. But guess who's using it the most? Singles. We just checked. So people who are single are using it a lot, because it's also the size of the portions, and also. Also the demand of, preparing food and all the waste and food waste and sustainability. And this is really what I really experienced just recently, that they focus a lot on that also in the canteens. So there is, for example, since this year, it's an absolute plastic-free company. So no plastic forks and straws and things like that. And these are little things that I haven't even considered to be things. But then it's like, oh wow, this is also really cool. And there was this one morning where a colleague of mine asked, like, hey Nina, we have this smoothie service. Do you want to have a smoothie on your desk in the morning? I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, I need to tell it to my friend. I mean, not right now, unfortunately, in the pandemic, but I love that. And I called my friends a couple of times. I'm like, yeah, maybe I'm using the smoothie service at my desk, but I'm not sure if I do that. And they're like, okay, they hang up. They're like, I'm not talking to you anymore.
Things, right? Smoothie service. That sounds all about me. I love smoothies.
Cool, right? Exactly. So what else do you have? I think I remember that you apart from the moving situation, and that you've spent a lot of money on like home office equipment, and like I did too, and that was pretty unnecessary, right?
Totally. I mean, it's amazing, and maybe just to sum everything up, all the different benefits you get here at SAP. I haven't seen it at any other country, and at any other country or any other company, right? Because especially my former role, I've seen so many different companies and the cultures and how they treat their employees, and I think they're amazing examples. But something like that, I have never seen. And I mean, if I would have known that there are so many different loans at SAP, I think it's really, really crazy. So I would not have needed to equip my home office personally, but SAP would have supported that with, for example, renovation and decoration loan. I never heard that at any other company, and I actually just signed today. And I think it's so great because you get a couple of €1,000 to make your home office just really, really nice, right? And we also have building loan agreements, which I think it's also amazing to really support our people. And this is on the one hand, the capital forming benefits, but then of course also shares people get. And I mean, this is something which really amazes me every year, how much SAP invests in the employees to also be a shareholder of the company and to make sure also the employees SAP.
Yeah, and what's amazing as well is that there are less discussions about that. There are things that I know from my former profession. I mean, there are discussion on things that are so normal at a company like this. There's even a little like, these things. What's the name for that? Like what these machines where you put coins in there, and then like a Snickers falls down, and some drinks. We have that for technical equipment like ear pods. I mean, of course, this is something you need to like tell your manager that this is something you need. But there is a machine, a vending machine, like in the buildings where you just swipe your card. And I was like, whoa. Okay, this is cool because I mean, they trust you. It does not mean that you can like equip yourself like crazy, but there is this trust. And this is something I really like, that things are for free. And there's a lot of trust going around. And same what you said before, maybe I add to that with the shares and the loans and things like that, and how to, and pension funds, and how to care like when you're older. I think this is a topic that is really hard to tackle, and I like read the whole internet about that. Like I think I read every article in the world about that, and I Googled like crazy to get informations on how to invest and where to put my money and make smart decisions and do that. And we just did the Finance Fridays, where we educate our people on things like that, so that they become professionals in life topics like that. For example, like how to invest, how to deal with shares, what are ETFs. So there are a lot of offerings that don't necessarily have to do with the workspace, but in the end they do, because they relax our employees, that they know what to do. Same with mental health. Have you probably used one of these offerings that we have around mindfulness and mental health? Have you heard about that already?
Definitely. So I have been part of some sessions I listened to, which I really loved, but it's already a couple of months ago, and I think a lot of people from my team they love the sessions, and they also love the different workshops and also learning journeys you can get on. And I think that's really amazing, especially when we look into the last 2 years. I mean, you just talked about how it was with homeschooling and everything, and it can be so overwhelming. And I mean, not only for parents, right? I mean, also for singles and non-singles.
Yes, especially. Yeah.
With.
Yeah, especially. And I mean, you just mentioned it. Like, I just joined a journaling session, which I thought, like, okay, this is one of these, if people are bored, they do journaling, because I mixed it up with hand lettering, to be honest. Not very smart, but well, we even had a hand lettering workshop just in the Christmas time last year. But I was like, okay, why is we have a mindfulness university where you can do all the classes for free. So all these things you can book like externally normally for like a crazy amount of money. And I did that before, like search inside yourself, don't get crazy, don't freak out, how to structure yourself, also leadership and coaching and how to prepare and how do I prepare my career and what am I good at? What are my skills? And what I think is amazing, that this is available like without any limits and without any costs for anyone, from a dual student to like an early talent. That's how we call people who just join SAP, up to like the leadership, all leadership levels, that you can just join that. And it is encouraged to do that. Because when I heard about that the first time, I was like, yeah, but I mean, is that really work? I mean, how do you make sure that people work? And they do. And what I really like is that it's like, hey, cool that you did that you did the journaling thing. Did it help? Was it good for you? And like, yes. Hey, Nina, try yoga. We have like a really special business yoga class. I'm like, business yoga. Okay. So what they did before I came, now I'm doing or posting these programs. But they wanted to put kind of like this, this is an esoteric thing right in front on like the cashier's place, where you just grab things and you consume them. And you just, because we have a lot of male colleagues as well. So, and sometimes males are more reluctant to topics like that than females. And this is really working out. This is really equaling. And I really love that. That leaders are really proud if their employees are doing that.
I really, really love it. And it's actually, it's not only the coachings you can get, you know, like a one-way street, but it's also bringing in people together who are maybe in the same situation and in the same position. So we have also a lot of people, especially in the last couple of years, who were then responsible to look after their parents, right? And this can sometimes be also a very, very hard thing to do. So having people to exchange with each other, having a psychological support definitely helps to sometimes share your thoughts, share your feelings and your experiences. And maybe one thing I wanted to get back on, because you were talking about the technical equipment and everything, and you just said there's a lot of trust about it, but I think it's also going, and that's what's trust really for, the empowerment piece. And what I really love, that there is a certain amount with SAP employees where they can just choose the best equipment which they like, right? So you don't have to check in with your manager, you can just order it. And I think this is, again, the trust part where SAP says, we trust you that you are going to make the right decision. And then actually, if I would have known also that you're able to lease technology, I think I would have not bought just a new computer, a private computer before I started here, because you can lease, and I think we just started it a couple of weeks ago. You can lease for your private use or for friends and family, computers, desktop computers, laptops. Actually, I just leased an Apple Watch. So I don't have it. You did it?
Yeah, I did too.
So to make sure I have enough steps when I'm in the home office. So that's my main use case.
Yeah, my watch is stalking me now. When I just do a stroll to the supermarket, the watch asks me if I'm doing sports. So you can just imagine how sportive I am in my normal life. It's like, hey, Nina, are you exercising? I'm like, no, I'm just walking. So thank you, watch. So
But I think it's motivating, isn't it? Because it gets so exciting about you moving. So I think it could be a very motivating factor there.
yeah, I try to see it that way. Right now, it feels like stalking. But I have a great question in the chat, and maybe this is perfect for me to take because, as you know, and you can see in my title that I'm responsible for the diversity programs. Internally, what I don't do is the hiring process itself. This is another part at SAP. They're really great, the talent acquisition part with great leaders. But of course, I prepared for my job, and I had a lot of ideas on how to like optimize hiring procedures and how to make sure that we hire diverse candidates. When I entered the job, I found out that I'm responsible for slightly like other programs, like the people who are already working for SAP. So this is basically what I do. But basically all the suggestions I had in the beginning were already in place. So I was like, okay, they know everything already. I have nothing to tell them. Of course, this developed. But here the question was how we tackle biases in the hiring process and how we make sure that the hiring is diverse. And I think this is very important for you students to know this as well, and that there are a lot of things in place. There are, of course, under the German law, a lot of things that we're not able to ask. So in the hiring process, we don't know where somebody necessarily comes from. So we know the gender. If you want to tell us what gender you're in, if you don't want to, that's also an option, of course. And this is how we can kind of trace who is applying for our job. So this is why I see some of these things maybe a bit differently. It's important to have data about that so that I really know, are we reaching also people with different backgrounds? And I also, for example, don't know how the upbringing was. So if someone had like lived in a family with less financial resources, life is harder. Also, if you have to finance your studies yourself, this is harder. You have less energy than someone who's well-funded from home. But this is something we don't know. So we have to get our hiring managers ready for that, so that they cannot ask, but they have they don't have biases. That's how we call it, and prejudices. And that they are sensitive about topics like that. And this is also an aspect of diversity, and that they don't judge, and that they don't go into like these immediate role thinking. For example, asking females, do you want to have kids one day? This is a forbidden question on one thing, but on the other hand, it's like easier to talk about family with women and maybe to talk about future expertise and things like that. So if someone shares that, and says, yeah, well, I want to have kids one day. I want both genders to just say that openly, because it's great. And it's great to share. And we want our hiring managers to be sensitive about that and to say, hey, cool, you're welcome with everything you are and with everything you bring into the company. And I feel that we're really on a good path there. And that's really calming me down. Of course, there are always still things to improve, truth to be told. But still, I would have joined SAP if that's what I knew earlier, that I knew from the beginning, and that the field is already very good prepared, and that we're really flying high here. How was your experience regarding that? You just joined.
I actually just want to add a sentence here, also from my hiring experience, because maybe as you can see, I'm pretty young, and I came to different leadership roles at a very young age. So actually, in a lot of conversation, my age was such a big topic. to just understand why are you so young and can't you wait a couple of years more? And first of all, I mean, if you just look into our board area, I think we have one of the youngest average board age, I guess maybe in the DAX even though. And I think this is just an amazing example to see how SAP is living this diversity trait, which is age. And I just want to add here that during all the different conversations, and I had a couple during my interview process, no one asked me about age. And I thought this was so inspiring cool. Because I mean, I was just waiting for it to come up, and like it was not a topic at all. And I think that definitely goes to you and what your teams are also doing to make sure to understand what are maybe biases people have and how to overcome that.
Yeah, it's really, overcoming biases. That's what you said. It's maybe also answering Peter's question. Like when we say that we focus on competencies and we also focus on potential, it's not only competency, it's also like what is your potential? Because what you already know what to do, we find out very, very quickly what you're able to do. But we want to also know what you can learn and what you're capable of one day. So there's also a lot of focus on hiring for potential. And we're not focusing on gender, or in this case, if someone comes from. So the question, if like someone is preferred over someone else, over a male colleague, there is no such thing like that. And truth to be told, what we need to do is encouraging people from different backgrounds, from all the different diversity aspects to join us and to send us an application. And this is what we need to make sure, that we look at everyone equally and that we care about their potential and competencies. And if you are interested, you can reach out to Masa and me all the time. You also can reach out to talent acquisition and all our hosts here. You will get a lot of information today from other colleagues, and I will go into one or the other session because I'm interested in that. And if you should decide to apply, we're happy and bring everything you are. I think this is, from my perspective, at least that's what I want to reach. Please don't hesitate if you think you're a good match. Apply. Masa, you have the final words.
And we cannot wait to call you our colleagues sometime soon. And very, very much looking forward. Connect with us on LinkedIn, Twitter, wherever. And we are very, very happy that you guys joined our session and cannot wait to see you soon.
Thank you for listening. Oh, it's always so fast. Like there's so many things that we could have addressed.
Yeah, time goes by so fast. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys. Jump to other sessions. We were told to stop like punctually. We did. Yeah, and I just see that you enjoyed the session. I could just see that there's some survey going around. Great. So perfect. This is great. Thank you so much for letting us know, and reach out if you have more questions. Bye.